One insulated container. A standard styrofoam cooler from any gas station costs $2 to $5. A hard-sided cooler you already own works even better. Or a wooden box lined with 2-inch rigid foam insulation board from any home improvement store for the highest performance version. 1 to 2 pounds of paraffin wax with a melting point in the refrigerator range. Look for N-tetradecane or commercial PCM blends labeled for 4 to 8 degrees Celsius. These are available from candle supply stores, specialty PCM retailers online, and some scientific supply companies. 1 pound costs $3 to $6. 2 pounds costs $6 to $10. For a basic emergency cooler, 1 pound is sufficient. For a larger setup, the size of a mini fridge, use 3 to 5 pounds. Sealable freezer bags or flat, thin plastic containers. These hold the wax and prevent direct contact with food. Aluminum foil, standard kitchen aluminum foil. A double boiler or pot inside a larger pot for melting the wax safely. Total cost for basic build, $5 to $10. Total cost for high performance build, $15 to $25. Total electricity required for operation, 0. Step 1, prepare the wax packs. Melt your paraffin wax using a double boiler on the stove. Never melt paraffin over direct open flame. It is flammable at high temperatures. A double boiler keeps the wax below its flash point. Melt it slowly until fully liquid. Pour the liquid wax into sealable freezer bags or flat plastic containers. Make them as flat as possible. Flat shapes maximize the surface area of the wax, which maximizes the rate of heat exchange with the interior air. A wax pack that is ½ inch thick and 8 inches wide will cool the air around it far more efficiently than a round ball of the same mass. Seal the bags or containers completely. Lay them flat on a countertop and allow them to cool and solidify at room temperature. You now have reusable PCM cooling packs. They look like flat, translucent white bricks. They weigh less than a pound each, and they contain more cooling capacity than a bag of ice 3 times their weight. Step 2, pre-charge the wax. Before first use, place the solidified wax packs in your freezer for 12 to 24 hours. This brings the wax well below its melting point. When you place them in your cooler, the wax will first warm from its sub-freezing temperature to its melting point, absorbing sensible heat along the way. Then it will begin the phase transition, absorbing the much larger latent heat of fusion. This double absorption, sensible heat plus latent heat, gives you maximum cooling duration on the first cycle. For subsequent cycles, you do not need a freezer, you just need nighttime. Leave the wax packs outside or in any unheated space overnight. If the temperature drops below the wax's solidification point, which is the same as its melting point, the wax will resolidify and be ready for the next day. The freezer is only for the first charge and for maximum performance. Step 3, prepare the container. Line the inside of your insulated container with aluminum foil, shiny side facing inward. The foil acts as a radiant heat barrier. It reflects infrared radiation, the primary mechanism by which heat transfers across air gaps, back toward the walls and away from your food. This is the same principle used in NASA thermal blankets and emergency space blankets. It costs 50 cents worth of kitchen foil and extends the cooling duration by 15 to 25%. Step 4, load the cooler. Place wax packs along the bottom of the container. Place a layer of food on top. If you have additional wax packs, place them along the sides and on top of the food as well. The more surface area of wax in contact with the interior airspace, the more heat will be absorbed and the more stable the temperature will remain. Close the lid. Do not open it unless necessary. Every time you open the lid, warm air floods in and the wax has to absorb additional heat to bring the temperature back down. A cooler that is opened once per day will last 48 to 72 hours. A cooler that is opened every hour will last 18 to 24 hours. Discipline with the lid is the single biggest factor in performance. Step 5, monitor if desired. Place a simple digital thermometer inside the cooler if you want to track the temperature. You will observe something remarkable. For the first several hours, the temperature will hold nearly flat right at the wax's melting point. This is the phase transition plateau. As long as the wax is partially solid and partially liquid, the temperature does not change. It is physically locked at the melting point by the thermodynamics of the phase transition. This plateau is why the system works so well. It is not gradually warming. It is holding a stable temperature for as long as unmolted wax remains. Once all the wax is fully melted, the temperature will begin to rise gradually. This is your signal that the cooling cycle is complete. Remove the wax packs and reset them overnight. Now let us talk real performance. In a 2017 study published in Applied Sciences, researchers tested a phase change material cold storage container against a conventional insulated cooler. The PCM container maintained internal temperatures between 4 and 5 degrees Celsius for over 80 hours. That is 3.3 days of continuous refrigeration temperature storage without a single watt of electricity. The control container using conventional ice packs failed to maintain temperature within 12 hours, 80 hours versus 12 hours. Same insulation, same ambient conditions. The only difference was the thermal storage material, wax versus ice, and the wax won by a factor of nearly 7. For a home-built version using a standard styrofoam cooler and 1 to 2 pounds of paraffin wax, you should expect the following performance based on the published thermal data and the insulation values of commercial styrofoam. In a room at 75 degrees Fahrenheit with the lid closed, expect 24 to 36 hours of food-safe temperatures below 40 degrees. In a cooler environment like a basement or shaded garage at 65 degrees, expect 48 to 60 hours. In a well-insulated hard-sided cooler with 2-inch foam walls, expect 60 to 80 hours. For context, the FDA says your $2,000 refrigerator keeps food safe for 4 hours after a power outage. This $5 device keeps food safe for 24 to 80 hours, depending on build quality. That is 6 to 20 times longer, for a fraction of 1% of the cost. During a power outage, a standard portable generator costs $800 to $2,000, requires gasoline that may not be available during a grid down event, produces carbon monoxide that kills approximately 80 Americans per year during storm-related outages, makes noise that alerts everyone in your neighborhood that you have power when they do not, and runs your refrigerator at its normal 150 per year electricity rate. A backup battery system like a home power wall or portable power station costs $2,000 to $15,000, has finite storage capacity that must be rationed across all household loads, and takes hours to recharge if solar panels are available, days if they are not. The wax cooler costs $5 to $25. It requires no fuel, it produces no emissions, it makes no noise, it has no finite battery capacity, and it resets itself every night by the simple act of the sun going down. This is not a compromise. This is a superior solution for the specific problem of keeping food cold during a power outage. It does one thing, and it does it better than any competing technology at a fraction of the cost. So why is this not in every emergency kit in America? Why is this not sold at every hardware store next to the flashlights and batteries? Follow the money. The American appliance industry generates over $50 billion in annual revenue. Refrigerators are the anchor product, the one appliance every household owns and replaces every 10 to 14 years. Approximately 10 million refrigerators are sold in the United States every year, at an average price of $200, that is $12 billion in annual sales. Layer on the electricity consumption, $150 per year per household, multiplied by 130 million households, and the annual electrical revenue generated by refrigerators alone is approximately $19.5 billion. Now imagine a $5 device that eliminates the need for a refrigerator during any power outage. Imagine that device being so simple that a child can build it. Imagine that it works for free, forever, and costs less than a gallon of milk. Now imagine what happens to the emergency generator market, the backup battery market, the appliance insurance market, the grid demand during recovery periods. It is not that the appliance industry actively suppresses this technology. It is that there is zero financial incentive for any player in the current system to promote it. The hardware store does not promote it because a $3 block of wax does not drive foot traffic. The appliance manufacturer does not promote it because it undermines the urgency to replace your aging refrigerator with a newer, more expensive one. The power company does not promote it because 130 million refrigerators running 24 hours a day is $19.5 billion in metered electricity. And the emergency preparedness industry does not promote it because selling you a $3 solution does not sustain a business that depends on selling you an $800 generator. The technology sits in the gap between what works and what sells. And in that gap, families throw away food during every blackout that hits this country. For those who want to take this beyond basic emergency use, the technology scales in every direction. Daily use off-grid cooler. Build a larger insulated chest using 3 to 4 inch foam panels. Line the interior with reflective foil. Use 5 to 10 pounds of refrigerator range paraffin. Place the wax packs outside every night to resolidify. In any climate with a diurnal temperature swing of 15 degrees Fahrenheit or more, you have a self-sustaining refrigerator that operates indefinitely with zero electricity. This is a functional off-grid refrigerator for homesteaders, remote cabins, van dwellers, and anyone who wants to decouple their food storage from the electrical grid. Buried root cellar hybrid. Bury an insulated container 3 to 4 feet underground where the earth maintains a constant 55 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. Add paraffin wax packs to pull the interior temperature from 55 down to 38 to 40 degrees. The underground temperature does most of the work. The wax does the final 15 degrees. This combination can maintain refrigerator temperature indefinitely with zero above-ground footprint, zero power, and zero maintenance. Wall-integrated passive cooling. In Europe, construction firms are already embedding microencapsulated PCM wax into drywall and concrete. During the day, the wax melts inside the wall, absorbing heat from the room. At night, it resolidifies and releases the heat to the outside. Studies show this reduces cooling energy consumption by 20 to 40%. Entire buildings are being designed to stay cool without air conditioning using the same $3 material you can buy at a craft store. This technology is commercially available in Germany, Switzerland, and Scandinavia. It is virtually unknown in the American construction industry. Vaccine and medicine storage. The military and pharmaceutical industry already use PCM packs to ship vaccines and insulin across deserts without cold chain infrastructure. PATH, a global health organization, published a comprehensive report on phase change materials for vaccine cold chain applications. The same packs used to keep COVID-19 vaccines stable during transport to remote African villages could keep your insulin, your antibiotics, or your child's medicine at safe temperatures during any outage. For anyone with temperature-sensitive medications, a small PCM cooler is not a convenience. It is a medical necessity that costs $5 to build. Let us put the numbers on the same page one final time. Your refrigerator. $800 to $2,000 to buy, $150 per year to run, 4 hours of food safety during a power outage, then everything inside is at risk. One compressor failure, $300 to $250 to repair. Average lifespan, 10 to 14 years. Then you buy another one. A paraffin wax cooler, $5 to $25 to build, $0 per year to run, 24 to 80 hours of food safety during a power outage without a single watt of electricity. No compressor to fail, no refrigerant to leak, no motor to burn out. Lifespan, indefinite. The wax never degrades, it never needs replacing. It simply cycles between solid and liquid, absorbing and releasing heat day after day, year after year, for as long as the laws of thermodynamics remain in effect. And they are not going anywhere. NASA proved this technology in orbit in 1973. The military trusts it to protect vaccines in combat zones. The European construction industry embeds it in walls to cool buildings without air conditioning. A Nigerian schoolteacher used the same underlying physics to keep vegetables fresh for 21 days in the Sahara Desert using nothing but 2 clay pots and wet sand. He saved thousands of lives. He won a Rolex Award. His name was Mohammed Bah Abba, and most Americans have never heard it. The science is published. The materials are on the shelf. The build takes 20 minutes. The cost is less than a sandwich. And the reason you have never heard of it has nothing to do with physics and everything to do with who profits when you stay dependent on a compressor, a power grid, and a monthly electric bill. Now you know, and now you can build one. Today. If this video helped you, share it with someone who lives in a hurricane zone, a wildfire zone, a tornado zone, or anywhere the power goes out and the food goes bad. Because the next time the grid fails, the difference between saving your food and throwing it away is a $3 block of wax and the 20 minutes you spent watching this video.